They all
Wow,
got
party
masks
time.
too, but I guess I got a better mask. I don't know how we should feel about that. So it's a Valentine's Day party. Deborah's getting in the
Nice.
spirit. See, Mom, I have found people of my like kind.
You found your people.
Found my people. We're lions. All right, so quieren conocer a mi mamá. Este es mi mamá. Mira. Mom, get a better camera angle. That's the top of my mom's head. Oh, that's my mom's face. It's mi mamá. Quieren conocer a mi mamá. Everyone wants to meet you now. Este
I was
es mi
gonna
mamá.
I was gonna say Yahweh, but that's right, that's Marshallese.
You know some Spanish, Mom. Show me your Spanish.
Um,
Hola.
hola, hola
I know. Oh,
everybody.
they're speaking to you
Hola,
in English.
hola.
Hello.
Hi everybody. You all look great. I love the masks. Hello, I love the masks. You guys look great. I like the lion. Wow, party time.
Okay, so we're gonna go upstairs and we'll come back down, but we won't be able to do much more than shout phrases down here.
Shout
Okay,
phrases.
so many got a lot of comments. People care about you on my page. They knew you were in surgery, so we'll get into that. But here's Mick in
Hey Mac.
the room.
How are you? You're looking well.
I am doing well. Thank you. You're looking well too.
Thank you. We're here in the.
Yeah, Mick gets up and jogs 10 miles every morning, so that's his secret.
Seriously?
No, it doesn't.
No, no.
No, he jogs to the coffee pot.
I
Okay.
walk slowly to the coffee pot.
Well, that means there's easy to have improvement, right? Because you don't have to do a whole lot just to.
So, my mom has the Our Lady of Guadalupe behind us. There's actually one that hangs in the school that my dad.
And this is from Guatemala.
Yeah.
So that's trick, right?
Yeah. So, and there's also Our Lady of Guadalupe that hangs in the church in San Marcos that my dad brought. There's also Our Lady of Guadalupe that hangs in our cathedral parish, at my
It's a
hometown
replica
that
of the
that
original.
my dad brought. So he's left the legacy of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and it was really fun when he came here and taught about it. That was a fun day.
Yeah, that was
Right?
very well.
So he was always a big supporter of the cause, not here on the earth anymore.
And we
But
went there twice. And Luke, you're the only child that was there with us both times.
yeah, that's true.
You went with us both times.
I'm the only. Well, that's because I don't have a family of my own, so I've been able to travel a lot, and I would meet up with you and Dad.
And yeah, if Luke heard about a trip, he was in on it. Especially if
Yeah,
it,
right before San Diego, we didn't know we probably wouldn't see each other for 2 years, but right before the pandemic, Dad had a work conference in San Diego, so we went there. I flew to Mexico, thought I had like 3 weeks to get back to Guatemala, and then a week into the trip, I found myself getting as quick as I could to the border so I could be on the side where I lived and not shut out on the side where I did not.
You were lucky.
So like life
but we
took
had
a
fun
lot
in
with
San
it.
Diego. San
We had a
Diego
great
was
time,
fun
yeah.
too.
And then right
We
after the
rented
pandemic,
bikes.
we saw each other in Mexico City. So we San Diego, Mexico City was our.
Yeah, one right after the other. So yeah.
So you've always donated what you can when you can, and you're a monthly sponsor for the kids. So right now we're $10 away from raising $2,000. We still have a big. That's great, but we still have a big mountain to climb. We have
So
$12,000 total to raise.
okay.
We have.
Here's the thing. I've been out. I hopefully I'll visit later this year.
Mhm.
And I've been with you in Guatemala. I've seen your work. And Luke, I'm proud to be your mother because people always tell me when you're not around, Luke's a really good guy. He's a really good person. I heard stories in Bismarck from somebody who told me about how you saved somebody's life. And I'm like, well, Luke never told me this. I remember Dad and I going into a bar and we're waiting while you're conversing with somebody in sign language. And we're like, oh, I didn't know Luke knew sign language. But I don't donate to the Integral Heart Foundation because you're my son. I donate because you are supporting good causes.
Mm.
And that's the reason why. I mean, there's a lot of good causes. So yeah, the fact that this is this is your cause, I'm behind you on it, but it's because I know it's a good cause. I wouldn't just support any old thing you were doing.
Yeah, education, I guess you have a deep understanding of that. You had 10 kids, homeschooled them till 8th grade. So,
And
and yeah, one of the
survived.
things, Mick talks about, actually what I saw on the way here, well, not an easy thing to see, but a good thing to see to inform our work is maybe you guys have seen her in the park, Mick. There's a woman selling lottery tickets. She has a toddler in like a thing with wheels, and then she's got like a 5-year-old daughter just sitting off to the side with like a plastic toy.
Underneath the arch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who just sits there all day long, and I just made me think like that's where all the kids in the inner of the heart essentially were in their own way on some street corner.
Yeah, because when they're not at school.
Mhm.
Or worse.
Then it will be picking up trash, like
Yeah.
bottles,
Plastic
and
bottles,
or
recycled.
food, or helping the parents panic.
Yeah.
So at least the girl is sitting with toys besides her mom, but other kids are actually working with their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was going downstairs and just seeing the kids there, it's like what that little girl doesn't have is a place to belong to. Like, she probably returns to a shack. She sits on a dirty street corner every day. With a
Oh, don't tell me this. I want you to go get that little girl. It
Well,
just makes me so sad to hear those stories.
well, that's the deal, though. Is like the 80 kids in this organization;
I
those
know.
are their stories, and that's why we're 100% crowd funded. This isn't a drill. This is the work that we do, and this is what enables it. And we've gotten 1/6 to the goal, but we still have 5/6 to go. So we still have a lot of work to do, and it happens one donation at a time. So there's 24 people watching live. If you have any questions for my mom, you can ask her now. We'll read some of the comments. Happy Foodie says, hi, Mick. Um, Greg says $18 hotel. Was there a bathroom down the hall? Yep, there was a shared bathroom, but yep, did have that. So I'm staying in an 18. I just kind of winged it. I didn't have a place to stay, but I found a perfectly adequate $18 room. Okay, so we're going up. You can put your new comments down. I'm just going back. Rosemary says she's sorry she spelled your name wrong. I'm sure it's happened your whole life.
No, that's how I used to
Uh,
spell my name until 7th grade, and I thought an I was cooler than a Y. I'm getting muffins out of the oven.
Okay, so
So,
she used to spell her name that way.
I
Hello,
don't take
okay,
offense.
Debbie says thanks for putting the PayPal yesterday. Link works. So yeah, we got PayPal now.
Yeah, we got.
Accepted. We got talking with Tammy on the line. I had a really fun call with her. I should show you my call with Tammy. It got pretty wild. Hello and
Muffins.
prayers for your mom. So yeah, how are you doing, Mom? Since your surgery, are you?
I just made some
survived?
pumpkin banana
Made
muffins with stevia. I'm doing great.
Deborah, your muffins. She's a muffin. Oh, she's more of a cupcake
I like
lady.
to bake. I like the kitchen.
Yeah, well, so I really can't have sugar, so I use stevia. Ooh, a little bit hot. So, yeah, they should be healthy. A lot of protein. Yeah, I'm doing really well since my surgery, and I have a lot of work to do. Like, I had a publisher ask me to do another book, and I'm promoting a book that's being made into a movie. And I thought, you know what? I don't know the mind of God, but it seems like he has a lot of work for me to do. So I think I'm going to make it out of this surgery
wait.
successfully.
Josie, Deb was asking about the dog.
You know what? She's getting spayed today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
So
That's important too.
call again. She's a beautiful dog, very big, bigger than I expected. She's 70 pounds and she's 9 months old.
Golden retriever. They
Yeah.
love golden retrievers.
And I'm sure
They moved here with a golden retriever.
yeah, she's
I-
full of beans, right? She's kind of like a.
An Irish saying means she's energetic, right?
Yeah.
She is as
Spanish woman saying Irish
extroverted.
names, I love it.
She's as extroverted as a dog can be.
That's great, yeah.
Very,
Well, I mean,
very.
she's got a lot of, I don't know, are they her grandkids? What are those? There's a lot of kids around her, so.
She just is happy if somebody else is it. The more people that are here, she's just so
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, that's how
She,
we are.
yeah. Excuse me. That's what extroverts become energized around people, and that's her. So I need to get her so she's not jumping on people because I would like to use her for pet therapy. We used to bring dogs to the nursing home. We even had 2 different times I had people come out of a comatose state when I was bringing dogs around to them. One was Arvid. Luke, do you remember Arvid? Did you used to go to the Baptist home with us with Arvid? He used to
Remember
love
Harvard,
he
yeah.
used to love Hope and Hunter.
Yeah.
And then from Hunter we went to Sophie, a Newfoundland mix. And Arvid went downhill. And so, but we used to always go to see if he was there because he, more than anybody I'd ever seen, loved dogs. He would hug them, he would get all excited. But for the longest time, he was just always like asleep in a chair. Just always, I would say, "Hey, Arvid, do you want to visit?" Never woke up. So one day I went in there and I said, "Hey, Arvid, do you want to visit with dogs?" And he opened his eyes and he saw Sophie, the Newfoundland mix. And he was so excited. He goes, "Oh," and he tapped his chest so she would come up on the recliner with him. And he was hugging her and laughing. And what I didn't know is nobody had seen Arvid like this in a very long time because nurses and CNAs, people came in the hallway and they said, "Oh, look at Arvid." And they're like, come here, look at Arvid." So that was really exciting for me and the kids that were with me to see the effect that all the staff and everybody was amazed at Arvid, that the energy and excitement that they hadn't seen from him in many, many months. So
I mean, they are a handful, those dogs, but they lovely energy. I mean, they are so sweet, so noble. They are adorable. They really are.
yeah,
So
one of Luke's favorites was Hunter, the big golden retriever. So
So,
Josie's about
if
as
you guys
big as
have any
him.
questions for my mom, you can ask her anything now. So leave them in the comments.
Nothing's off the table. Questions about Luke's childhood, just, let them rip. I'll take them.
So where do you live right now?
I live in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Okay.
So it's cold out today.
I understand.
Yeah, I see how you're dressed, that it's not so cold. That's what I have. That's what I have under my sweater. Is I have one of those straps tops, but definitely need a layer of sweater. I can show you. We have snow too, so it's very pretty.
Okay.
It may be cold.
Well, I live in Illinois, and we're supposed to be getting 8 inches of snow today.
Yeah. So
Well-
she planned her trip, Mom, in a good time. You're planning your trip in the summer. It doesn't really make sense.
No, I'm planning it in the fall, Luke.
For sure, but
Here's
the
our
fall.
sled hills.
yeah, well, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah, you do have to go outside.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't have to go outside. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad though he loved it. He would go if 50 degrees below zero. He'd be with wind chill. He'd be skiing.
Oh gosh.
We thought. I mean, we assumed that was what what would have taken him out his crazy skiing escapade. Oh, Mom, you hit mute. You have to unmute yourself.
In.
There's a microphone with help.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of calls coming in, so I've been I've been hitting a lot of buttons to stop that. I guess I should probably sit in a place where it's not going to be, the light is a little better. So yeah, I used to worry when it was really cold, like 15, 20 below. I said, maybe it's not safe for you to go out there, but you couldn't stop them. And I'm like, yeah, but if you don't come in an hour, like I have to go out and try to find you. And I wouldn't even know where to look. So we're glad he died basically of natural causes, not in a skiing accident, not getting hit by a car, because he always would say, "I had the right of way." We're like, it doesn't matter. The car is bigger than you.
Yeah, if he saw a car was gonna hit him, he would kind of just let it happen to prove a point that he had the right of way.
I'm right, you're wrong.
So hi to Brandy Harrison.
Hey, Brandy in Canada, yeah.
So Canada, she knows what cold weather is like. It makes
She knows.
it gives you a
She
backbone.
homeschools too. She homeschools her kid.
Oh, we did that. I homeschooled for 19 years. Luke was, if I was to describe Luke as a
Sounds like you didn't
student,
graduate, Mom. If you homeschooled for 19 years, sounds like you were held back a lot.
I homeschooled the children. When I was growing up, nobody homeschooled.
Yeah.
And then when I first heard about it,
your aunt and uncle did. So
they did for a time. Yeah, when I first heard about it, I thought, who would do that? And Luke was both a good student and a bad student because he was a natural learner. One year, you took 3 science courses because you were taking band and you go, oh, I'll just stay for science. And then we had science here, and
Hey,
then you
Lena,
used to
thanks for your donation.
and then you used to go to a class. I mean, you loved science. You loved learning, but if I had to fit you into a box, you didn't do very well there. But there were certain subjects you had to do. You had to do spelling and English. You had to
All the
learn.
stuff we didn't have to do because spell check came, calculators.
You had to learn English. You majored in English in the end, in
Yeah.
literature.
Yeah.
You were a good reader, but being a natural
I did major
learner,
in spelling though. So when people say, when I misspell things, I get the comment a lot. Oh, and you're a writer? And I say, yeah, I'm a writer, not a speller. The kids that win spelling bees go on to be engineers.
yeah, I'm not a great speller either.
Yeah.
It's just a different part of the brain, I think, where that stuff sticks. But you were a natural learner, so you were always learning, and so you did very well in life and in
Hi, Victoria. Thank
school.
you for your donation. So we got some very kind hearts on the line, Mom. So
I want to know, why did you decide to do the homeschooling with your kids? What brought you to do that? Because I guess it wasn't something normal at the time. I mean, now it's more common, but
Way more common. It was becoming common, but it wasn't mainstream yet. Back then, if you were going to homeschool, I had to like start to meet some homeschoolers because you were stepping into a different world. Now it's a little more laid back. There's people that homeschool, but I was looking for a new social life, a new world we were going to be entering. So I was nervous at first. I went to a convention in the spring ahead of time to kind of meet people, listen to their talks. So the reason I did it is it was multifaceted. And once I started homeschooling, the more I learned. I wish I would have done it years earlier. Our oldest child was extremely bright. At 18 months old, he could say his entire alphabet. And everybody was like amazed. 18 months old, kids aren't even putting two words together. He went through his grade school years extremely bored. Now, many years later, our second to youngest child, John, he was like equally real high Q, but he never knew it because, I mean, he wasn't bored all the time. He was always challenged at home. And then he didn't go to school until high school, where you're taking different classes, where they're a little bit more able to address your skill. But he started reading at 3. Well, what would I have done if I put him in school? And some of the kids, not all the kids were advanced. Some needed a little extra time. But you know what? The great thing about homeschooling is you go at whatever your pace is. You don't turn the page. If a kid's doing C work or average work, well, you don't go on to the next page. You just go over stuff until they understand it. Then you go to the next
and you
page.
don't call it average work compared to the other students, because then kids grow up thinking they're mediocre because they have all these grades, and like someone has to get the low grade, someone has to get the high grade. So there's a hierarchy established in a classroom where it follows you through life. It's like not really,
Yes.
yeah.
You're not comparing yourself with anybody. So if you're slow and struggling, all you're doing is your mom is doing the work with you. If you're real bright, you're not comparing yourself and realizing like, wait, nobody else. So we would do first and second grade in 1 year. And any kid can do that because you're spending one-on-one with them. So they're learning quickly, they're reading quickly. And I remember John, we had fun little workbooks, but I remember him just going page by page and ripping out the pages. And I'm like, John, what are you doing? I'm just going to get through this thing. And I mean, he did like half a year in one day of that particular workbook, and he was getting everything right. And he just, I'm just going to get rid of all this. And he did everything, but you couldn't have done that in school.
no.
And I was looking at, there's just a lot. You're in a social straitjacket in school. And I saw Luke keep in touch with some of his friends that he'd gone to school with. And I saw as there was bullying or, they were in this group mentality. And he would keep in touch with some of his friends and not with others. And some he wouldn't take phone calls. And it's like, well, this one particular kid would treat people like a jerk.
10 years
So,
old, I'm not taking calls today, Mom.
like, I'm not going to answer him.
Well,
Michael, he's not
he
alive.
always
He
had the
died.
attitude, right? The attitude was always there.
Now it's
But
like I'm in silence today, guys. Nobody can talk to me.
kind of the same thing.
I'm
But
meditating.
you kept in touch with your friend David, but then
Yeah.
you didn't keep in touch with Michael. Well, I heard from David's mother that Michael would treat him like a jerk, and she goes, "Why are you friends with him?" But I realized in a situation like that, if you're with a group, you don't decide I'm going to be friends with him and not with him. It's like, no. I mean, I guess you can maybe figure out how to deal with people that aren't always nice to you. But Luke could just decide who he wanted to hang out with. He didn't have to feel like he was in a social straitjacket. So he
You
kept
don't.
in touch.
Sorry, Michael. I don't feel you respect me. I can't hang out with you anymore.
But that was what
Don't
was
respect my
going
needs and
on.
boundaries. I'm
Maybe you,
homeschooled, Michael. I don't have to take your shit.
but maybe you didn't put those words to it, but that's what
Yeah,
was
that was
going
my
on.
attitude. Yeah, no, yeah.
That was what was going on. And so you guys were your own self. And it was really, it was, I mean, I saw the benefits. I appreciate the benefits way more after I'd been doing it for many years than when I was going
Okay,
into it.
Mom. It's an
Okay, that's
exciting
enough.
time. Mick has been biting his tongue at the computer. Good things are happening.
Robin,
Okay.
very much.
Okay.
I'll be watching this call. Beautiful donation, and we've broken the 10K.
Broken. Less than 10K left. Oh my
Yee.
gosh.
We're gonna go back.
Wonderful.
Play some of that royalty-free music, Mick.
We are at
Some-
9455.
Okay. That feels good to get under 10,000. That feels possible, Mick.
So now Abby's gonna go live or post. Let's make a big chunk out of that. Mark and Marion are on the way. 9455.
Okay. 9455. Thank you, Robin. And thank you, Mom, for being here, encouraging people to donate. So yeah, homeschooling. I think I don't have kids of my own, but like the thought of I've been circling education my whole life, right? Because I guess shortly after college, I was running schools. I had like that 9 months of lapse period where I was just hitchhiking through South America. But then I found myself at 22 to 26. This is where I met Nick and Deb, directing one of the largest charities in the country. An opportunity that shouldn't have come to a 22-year-old, but it did. I said yes. So I was like working with teachers to form curriculum. At the time, I wanted to do my job well, so I was reading a lot about educational pedagogy, and then you guys came on the scene, and how sort of, I guess, a lot of things started with Mick and Deborah collaborating with me, because we had this volunteer coordinator. Let's go down memory lane. I'll try to do this quickly. I can go on long rants. And my mom can too. We all can in our family. The gift of gab. So our volunteer coordinator, we had like 100 volunteers at any given time. This is a large organization, helped about 4,000 people in 12 different programs, from clinics, stuff like this. So the Corinne was like, oh yeah, there's these 2 volunteers and they want to meet with you. And I was always like, people would want to meet with me like, 'cause they were here 2 weeks volunteering. And I just didn't have time. I had 12 programs around. I had 300 staff members. So I was like, probably like something like, yeah, I'm not going to meet with them or whatever.
But also, I have to say something.
Uh-huh.
Also, the girl volunteers, they had a different reason why they wanted to meet the boss. So I had to say that as well.
People wanted to meet with me, but there was no patronizing with the volunteers, so I held myself to that standard. But but Curtin was like, no, I think you want to meet these men. So we got to lunch at Caspa. That was the first time like hanging out, and philosophically, Mick just had a book out called The Uncommon Path. I had just published a poetry book, so there was some resonance there. But what happened is I started a philosophy class because I was in high level administration, and I wouldn't have chosen that role for me. I would have like been an English teacher like all the other.
So thanks to Robin who donated, but go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. She's our angel. So anyways, I did this philosophy class, and Deborah had a philosophy background too, so she was my sub for the class.
Yeah, because he
And I
was
couldn't make
traveling all the time. He would say, can you cover my class? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but then he never came back.
And then she stole it. Then they took over. Well, after 2 years, I realized I'd done the class, but I gave it fully to Deborah. She developed it further, and that was sort of the first class of Integral Heart, which many more were added. And yeah, Mick and Deborah are still here today. So it goes
2 years then we covered for you.
Yeah, and I think that was another thing with volunteers at the time, that there were many volunteers, that's true, but many of those people, they will be here for a couple of months or 3 months or half a year. I mean, we were here to stay, so it's a different kind of commitment as well for the kids and for.
Yeah. You just never know, because Mick and I would have like a monthly meeting of the minds at a place. We'd go and we'd grab a coffee.
The Spanish.
Yeah, we just kind of like talk shop, whatever, sometimes work related. And then one of those meetings was Mick told me that like they wanted to start their own organization. I wrote his recommendation letter to the IRS for their 501c3 for my position as project manager at the time. So it's just funny. You never know where life's going to lead. You know, like you guys were in the side of life, but you know, this whole thing was yet to come. It was like the
Yeah.
seeds of a lot of different things. So many ways you can tell the story. One way I sometimes tell the story is Integral Heart is one of the flowers from the ashes of 9/11 because Mick had founded two businesses in Tower One. And if that hadn't happened, like his trajectory would have been so much different that the Integral Heart would have never existed. So this is one of those little flowers in the ashes of that. And yeah, let's go downstairs because the impact you see.
I'll keep you posted if there's any updates.
And if you're watching, I encourage you to just go on my page. I just posted a photo of that little girl in the street because this is like really.
Yeah,
I'm
what a
gonna see if we
difference.
can send a social worker there and even bring that girl into a program because that's the sort of thing
Yeah,
we
that's what
do
I
when we see
feel. You
these
should.
things. But like that girl's literally like this in the street, and she's like that all day, and kids are like that all day.
Oh, that is so sad.
There's a period of transition, but what happens when kids come to our program is they become confident, outgoing. They talk to adults. They hear my mom's on the phone, and they're saying hi in English because they know she speaks English. So this is what happens to those kids
We've got to
through
stimulate those
through
minds.
your guys' donations and funding. We're 100% crowd funded. We're appealing to you today to do what you can because, like, you are what makes this work happen. And yeah, we'd want to bring every kid dejected to the streets into a world like this. Could we do it for the whole world? We would. Right now, it's a full-time job just to keep this place up and running. So we ask you to help us keep this dream alive, as so many of you so often do. Hola. Hola. ¿Quieren hablar con mi mamá?
Oh,
They want to see you.
hang on.
They've never seen probably snow. Quieren ver nieve.
Okay, just a
Nieve. They
minute.
want to see the snow.
I'm going to show snow. I'm going to go to the front door and show them
Good.
snow.
Ella está en nieve, sí. They're very excited to see the snow.
Okay.
Wow, mira.
And there's the Blessed Mother saying hi to you. There's
Show more
Jesus.
snow. Hi, Jesus. We're
Wait,
just gonna keep seeing snow, Mom.
I'll show them out the window
Now
the
there's more
sled.
kids, so you gotta show them again.
Wait,
March
show them the.
11/11. Make a wish. I wish.
Tell them
Helping get
about
other donations.
sledding. Tell them about
Wow.
sledding down these hills.
All right. Well, that's good on the other.
Tell them you go in a sled and you go down the hills.
Dice que hacen una tabla y puedes montar en nieve. You think it's pretty cool, Mom?
Oh, it is cool. It's
That's
cold, but it's cool.
Definitely cold. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely cold.
All right. Well, I know my mom, guys, has a busy life and day. So if you have any final questions, we got a couple minutes left. Leave them in the comments. Otherwise, please consider donating what you can to keep the dreams of 80 kids alive through the work of the Integral Heart. And please consider sharing the link on your Facebook wall, encouraging others. Every drive feels like a miracle that we get to these large numbers. We have $9,445 left to raise. And we do that donation by donation, dollar by dollar. And that keeps these kids in this situation day after day after day. All of these kids were either in as bad or worse a situation of that little girl on the street. So
So I hope you can see that little girl somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Mick like if we can send us one of our social workers there and just check in. I mean, we're a program designed for 60 with 80 kids, so like the
Well,
thing is
I know it's always hard because you can't save the whole world. But I remember
we
when
could
we were in
find
Mexico.
500 kids. Sorry to interrupt. We could find 500 kids like that today if we drove around. Like that's the reality of Guatemala, and that's why we need your help.
Well, right. I mean, it is hard when you go to those countries, and that's why your program. I mean, I give to a lot of organizations, and yours is one of them, because in other countries they don't have the same safety nets that you do here.
Yeah.
So you can make a bigger impact
So these
everything
are
you
two of
do.
our teachers. Hola. And they grew up. Puedo hablar con ustedes rapidito. Este es mi mamá. Estamos hablando de los niños del programa, pero ustedes
Hola.
ven el programa. So I said she's one of our teachers, but she grew up in the Integral Heart family.
Wow.
Entonces yo voy a traducir, no sé si puedes relacionar. Tú eres maestro, tú aquí.
No, ella es alumna.
Ah, alumna, pero ayudas mucho. So she's one of our older students, and she helps a lot. And yeah, she grew up from being one of the kids in the program, like the little girls you see, to being one of the teachers. Entonces, si quieren sentar, vamos a hablar rapidito. Quiero saber tu experiencia de antes no podías estudiar. ¿Cómo fue esa experiencia? So I just asked her, what was your experience like before when you couldn't study?
Pues vieron que me ha sido bastante bien. Yo empecé acá cuando tenía como 6 años.
So she started here when she had 6 years old in the center.
Wow.
Looks like I'm taking her away from her work. Yeah, que estoy distrayéndote de su trabajo.
Sí, yo empecé acá cuando tenía
Sí.
6 años.
Yo recuerdo aquí cuando era niña. I remember her when she was a little girl, yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Empecé como alumna.
Uh-huh. So she started as a student, she said.
En eso me preguntaron si te quería seguir aquí como maestra. Entonces, pues sí, en un
And
momento
when
sí.
she was graduating, like, yeah, they asked her what she wanted to be, and she wanted to be a teacher.
How wonderful. So yeah,
Sí,
what a
hay
life.
otros niños de su barrio que no estudiaron. Sí, conozco. Asked her if she knows other kids in her like area that didn't get to study.
Sí, hay muchos.
She says there's many.
Sí, hay muchos. Sí, pero es porque también quizás los papás los han descuidado mucho
He says the parents really don't care for their kids oftentimes.
por lo económica.
Or she says for economic situation. Pero si te va a dejar saber. Sí. Entonces, estamos hablando con los donantes, los cuales que donan. ¿Por qué es importante donar a esta organización? So Esther, why is it important for the people watching to donate?
Porque se les facilita mucho estudiando.
Because it helps us to study.
Con la ayuda que se les da acá,
With the help that you give us here,
ellos logran juntar un poco de dinero para guardarlo y darlo a las escuelas cuando necesitan útiles.
it allows them to pay their school expenses when they need school supplies, when they need clothes.
Ajá, y yo siento pues que hoy en día los jóvenes están perdiendo en muchas cosas por lo mismo que no tienen que hacer en las tardes. En cambio aquí ellos se vienen a distraer y no
She says she feels like she says like she feels like the kids in even the regular schools they lose a lot because they have nothing to do in the afternoons